Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Root Cooking School podcast. I'm your host, John Hauser III, and with me, with a microphone attached to a fly tying rig is...
Hello, everybody. It's Jeni Peck. You thought you got rid of me, but I'm still back.
Is that what that thing's called, a fly tying rig?
It is a fly tying vise.
Oh, okay.
Yes, it holds your hooks so you can add thread and feathers and other materials, and it's pretty rad. And I have my mic attached to it because it's like also on a pedestal and it's adjustable, so it has many uses other than fly tying, apparently.
It looks very nice. I like the brass parts.
Thanks. It's I splurged on it's not like crazy nice, but I didn't get like the shittiest one.
Right. No, it looks nice.
Yeah. It's like very heavy, so it can, take a beating and everything, but it's fun.
Yeah, those really heavy hooks.
Yeah. Look, it has a rotary function, so I can spin the hook with the little handle and hold the thread so it'll wrap around without me having to wrap.
I figured that's what that was for. Yeah.
It's fun.
I don't even know who you are anymore.
I mean, okay, the fishing is a little weird, but the flying ties makes more sense because it's crafty.
Tying flies.
Yeah. What did I say? Yeah. Flying ties.
You said flying ties. Flying ties is a Microsoft 98 fucking screen saving background.
Yeah, I'm tying flies and flying ties, and it's crafty, which I
totally
love all
get
the
it.
Crafts.
The thing about me is if I get into something, I like all the fetishistic accoutrement.
Oh yeah,
that's my favorite thing about getting. Yeah, gear and fucking kit and gear. I love.
That's why fishing too is a lot of fun because there is a lot of gear. I mean, I do a more simple version of it, so I try to stay as minimalist as possible. But there's still a lot of gear, and it's so much fun.
Ask me about the box of guitar pickups I have. You know what I mean? I just. Hey, I might need this humbucker one day. Just keep it in the box.
No, there's a never-ending supply of hooks and different sizes and shapes, and they all have their uses, and then all the threads and types of feathers. And then with the fishing, I had to learn about entomology and different kinds of bugs and what time of year they're available. And
that's fucking crazy.
It's the fun nerd out stuff. That's
that's really cool. Yeah. It's fun learning a thing.
It is. Who knew?
I mean, not me. That's for damn sure. Fishing to me is a real, I grew up with a friend who would go fishing with his dad all the time, and they would try to take me, and I'd be like, I'm good.
Yeah.
I don't need to sit in a boat and watch your dad drink a 12-pack and we just don't do anything.
Yeah. No, I feel like that's...
You might catch one or two fish. And, I'm
but that is only one type of fishing, which I also assumed was the case, sitting with a bobber and you can put your rod in a stand and sit and have a beer. But even spinning rod fishing has evolved to they call it finesse fishing, where of course the Japanese started kind of this trend and made it really popular, and it's picking up here in America, and it's using really light lures, it's hard to say, and it's almost like fly fishing, kind of combining a little bit of fly fishing influence, and it's very active, and you're kind of really wooing the fish more with your lures, kind of like fly fishing, instead of just throwing it out there, putting a bobber on it and sitting and waiting and hoping for the fish to bite.
The most success I've ever had was on one of those charter boats, and everything's set up to go automatically.
Yeah, and they're trolling 10 rods and
yeah. And then all of a sudden one of them pops and you're like, oh, that's mine.
Yeah. I mean, the funnest part is reeling it in or pulling it in.
Yeah,
so
totally.
Yeah.
Again, just drinking beer, and I was like, But that was miserable because we were on the boat from like 6 a.m. till probably like, I don't know, 11 or 12. And I got off the boat and it didn't stop rocking when I got on ground. And I was like, I'm never doing this ever again.
Do you get motion sickness on the boat?
No, not at all. No. But when I got off the boat, I got motion sickness because I was like, why is I felt like I was on fucking mushrooms. I'm like, why is the ground moving?
It wasn't the ground, it was you. You were still swaying like you're on the boat. Yeah.
Even when I was laying down, the ground was moving.
Oh, no.
I was like, this sucks.
That can't feel good.
Yeah. But I do like fish. They're delicious. So, you had a good New Year's Eve and all that stuff?
Yes, a good New Year's Eve. Oh God, is that the last time I talked to you?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
We when we talked about Christmas stuff.
Yeah, no, New Year's Eve was great. I was in North Carolina, Durham, visiting friends, and we stayed in and cooked a lot of luxury appetizers. Right. And we did it up, and it was absolutely amazing.
Cool.
Yeah, and Durham is awesome. I love that town. Lots of good food. Anybody who's around the area, definitely go check it out. But my favorite thing I made scallop aguachile.
Okay.
It's kind of like, it's less like a ceviche and more like an Italian crudo. Or vice versa. Like it is, You're not really marinating the seafood. It's mostly raw, and I'm literally doing a quick toss in fresh lime juice, and then I lay it out like a crudo on a platter. And then since it's an aguachile, I made a sauce made of lots of fresh lime juice, fresh cilantro, a little parsley, and you puree that up all together and drizzle it. And then, what was I saying? Some raw red onion. And then traditionally it's drizzled with Maggi, like seasoning. Like that's,
really?
Yeah. And, it's absolutely delicious.
There's no chiles though?
Oh yeah. A little bit of serranos and jalapenos in the, I forgot that part.
You're saying aguachiles.
Yeah. Okay. And I first had it at Clavel, at the Clavel in Remington that does it with shrimp. It's an amazing version. And then when I was on vacation in Mexico, I had it, and it was just as good, but not as good as the Clavel version. The Clavel version is friggin' rockin'. So
interesting. And then the Maggi,
it adds a little salt and savoriness to it.
Sure.
To kind of cut the citrus note and everything. And in Mexico, Maggie's used a lot. And they have their own version. Like every country kind of has their own version of Maggi. And so if people don't know Maggi, it kind of tastes like soy sauce or like Dr. Bronner's seasoning sauce.
Dr. Bronner's?
Wait, not Dr. Bronner's. What is it called?
Dr. Bronner's makes the soap.
What's the company
one Godhead
that makes the like natural apple cider vinegar too?
Oh yeah,
like nutritional yeast.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
And it's kind of made the same way as like soy sauce. Like it's made usually from like wheat or something like that, and it's very salty. It's pretty much liquid MSG. It's absolutely delicious. But for my recipe, I could not find.
You were talking about Bragg's.
Yes, Bragg's. That's what I'm talking about.
Bragg's, yeah.
Dr. Bronner's. I wouldn't be surprised if they made it their own version.
Oh, I wouldn't. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised at all. Yeah.
But I couldn't find any, and I had already gone to 2 grocery stores, of course, for all of our food, and I didn't want to go to a third one, so I got fancy soy sauce that had kelp in it from, what's David Chang's restaurant? Momofuku?
Momofuku.
Yeah, Momofuku brand soy sauce with kelp in it.
Oh, interesting.
And it was so savory, so much umami, and that's like kind of drizzled on top and fucking good.
Cool.
Yeah. And my second favorite was peanut butter pepper jelly foie gras sandwiches on buttered brioche toast.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Right.
Those turned out great. So.
Awesome.
Yeah. How was your New Year's? Did you guys party
I bit
hard?
off of you. I for another holiday in a row took the Jenny Peck route. We went to Ni Hao.
Nice.
Yeah, dude. I ate all the dumplings. I made a mistake. I got the whole fish just because you said it was so good.
Yeah.
But by the time it came out,
you were full.
I was so fucking full from the 8,000 dumplings that I had.
Yeah.
And the fucking sesame noodles, and besides the dumplings, we had we just ate a bunch of shit.
Yeah.
And then still had like I got the fish and it came out. It was beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
It tastes. I got the spicy one.
Mm-hmm.
It was so fucking good. Like it was crispy and delicious, and man, everything was so good there.
Yeah.
Even their cocktails were really good.
Mm-hmm.
Crosby was going fucking bananas for the soup dumplings.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So he was like, we're getting like another order of these, right? Yeah. I was like, yeah, dude, if you want them, order them up.
I'm so obsessed with soup dumplings. If I'm going to a restaurant and they have soup dumplings, I have to decide if my meal is just as many soup dumplings I can handle and maybe an appetizer, or I don't have them at all. And I order lots of things from the menu and have it as just like a Chinese food meal. But if you're going for soup dumplings, it's just all soup dumplings. Like you can't eat just one order.
Yeah, they were so fucking good. They were so good.
Yeah.
They were really good.
I think we don't have a lot of options in this area, especially in the city.
No.
So
right.
I'm glad they're good. But I have to say they're not as good as like when I used to visit my brother in New York. We would go to Chinatown in Manhattan, but the best soup dumplings were in Flushing, New York. And yeah, the best. And we would literally just order a tower of them and just.
Damn. Yeah, I think we wound up. I know we at least got 2 orders of them. We might have got a third. But I think we got 2 because I ordered more, right? Like pork and shrimp dumplings. And like the thing that sold me was like, oh, you were saying like, oh, they changed their menu. They have like dim sum stuff now. And I was like, oh, fuck yeah. Like that's how I love eating like that. Like dim sum.
Yeah.
Or,
it's like all the appetizers.
Right. all small plates. Like let's share. Like, yeah, totally.
Yeah.
It's my favorite way to eat because you get a bigger variety of things.
Absolutely.
And I would rather have variety than just one big thing, even though I did order the fish. I will say I took it home and then we made fish tacos out of it the next day.
Yeah. Also, if you go next time, order the garlic eggplant. It comes
Leanna
out.
Ordered that.
Oh,
she's
so
obsessed
good.
with it.
Yeah, it's good.
Crispy and
It does not deliver well. You have to eat it there, but it's fucking good.
It's funny because whatever they put it in to fry it. I'm assuming it's like a potato starch and the rice starch. Mm-hmm. Because it's real gummy when you reheat it.
Yeah.
Like when you microwave it. Yeah. But it's still delicious and it does like I'm like, I don't care.
Yeah. I mean
it's delicious. The sauce is fucking great.
Yeah, that's why you have to eat it right away. But when you do get it at your table, it is incredibly
it's magical.
Crispy, but very thin. Mm-hmm. And then they slather it in the sauce and it stays crunchy, at least when you first eat it. And that's what's great.
Same
about
thing
it.
with the fish.
Yeah. Which I feel like a flour crust, like a wheat flour crust would not do that.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's definitely it's some sort of potato rice starch mixture.
Damn, now I want that.
But yeah, we went there. And then came home and one of Crosby's friends came over and her parents stayed for like an hour and a half and then they were like, all right, we're going home to go to bed. We're tired. Then we just stayed up and, I guess like we were just watching a bunch of crazy shit on TV. Like, that was it.
We were having a hard time staying up because we started early with the food. And then we were watching, because it is fun to watch all the stupid New Year's Eve like shows, like the Ryan Seacrest and the one with Anderson Cooper on the 2 channels, both in New York, even though it's fun just to watch all the people in the background and they're all pissing themselves or they're wearing diapers.
Oh, yeah. It gives me anxiety just watching.
I know.
Like, all those people. I'm like, no, thank you.
It's also just so embarrassing, like the hosts and everything that they're trying to do, because they can't talk about anything serious because it's New Year's Eve and it's exciting and happy, and they have like live performances that are for some reason awkward. And on the Anderson Cooper one, they had fucking, what's his name, that singer, oh my God, I'm blanking. Anyway, some famous singer, and he was in Japan at a friggin' cat bar.
Oh, right.
Not a cat cafe, but a bar that had cats in it. And they kept like going to him and being like, what's going on? And he'd be like, nothing. I'm still at a cat bar. This dude's name is Henry or whatever. I think he was making the names up. And then every time they'd go back to him, it would just be a cat's asshole. Because the cat would be like facing him and his butt to the camera, and no one was doing anything about it. So it was like,
that's so weird.
John Mayer. That's what it was. So they'd go back to him and be John Mayer's face and a cat's asshole. Like,
John Mayer's like secretly like the weirdest dude ever.
Oh, not secretly. He is very much a weirdo.
Yeah. And my friends brought over a dip, and it was some sort of like cheeseburger dip kind of thing. So it was like ground beef and some sort of liquid cheese concoction. And I was so full when they brought it over. I was like, oh God, I hate you for bringing this. And then like 2 hours later, I'm like, I'm so glad you brought it over.
That sounds trashy delicious.
Oh, it was great.
My favorite kind of delicious.
Yeah. And we just ate, like, the kids stayed up really late, and we just ate a bunch of bullshit and snacks and candy, and it was great. It was a nice time.
Yeah. I do not miss the days of parties and being out, and
I mean, I wouldn't mind going to somebody's house, or in the past we've had a bunch of people over here. I wouldn't mind doing that, but with Leanna having surgery and stuff, and we just chill. It was nice to have just a chill, chill New Year's.
Yeah.
For once.
With friends, family. It's great. Yeah. I stayed in my pajamas all day.
The next day it was like
I changed from my night pajamas to my day pajamas, so it was nice, I stepped it up a little bit.
You weren't wearing that Costco sweatshirt you're wearing right now, you shill.
You're jealous of my Costco sweatshirt.
I'm not. I can tell you I'm not.
It's nice.
I swear to God you work for Costco.
It has like nice embroidery and everything.
Yeah,
it's
it looks
fancy.
Like. How did you get it?
They were selling it at Costco.
You fucking bought it?
Yeah, I bought it.
You maniac. They didn't give it to you for being fucking super fan?
I know, right? They should have, but no. I regret not buying 2 of them.
Holy shit.
It's really comfy.
What does
it's
Lila
super
think
thick,
of the Costco
soft.
sweatshirt?
She loves it. She thinks it's hot.
No, she doesn't. There's no way. Yeah, you guys are like, she's like, hey, where are the free samples at? You guys are role playing Costco and shit.
Exactly. I mean, Costco definitely turns me on.
Yeah. Fuck. Never mind. Okay. Let's get into the thing. So this week is like winter comfort food, because here in Baltimore, it has snowed a couple days ago, and it is about to snow. I'm assuming they're going to close schools again and all that. We're going to get like, 3 or 4 inches or whatever.
Yeah.
Not a lot, but enough to gum up the works. But it snowed 2 days ago, and I made a big pot of chili, and it was like really nice.
Nice. Comforting.
It's like, yeah.
Chili is one of the most perfect snow day foods, I feel like.
Yes.
Yeah.
I agree. And then like a lot of people like cornbread with it. I hate cornbread a lot of times. So I got focaccia.
Oh, nice. Yeah, that's a good combo.
Which, you can crisp it up and it holds up to the chili. It doesn't fall apart. Like, I got a thing with cornbread most of the time. Like, a lot of times I'm like, it's just cake. It's just it's just grainy cake.
We've had this conversation, or did we?
Yeah,
I know. I don't know. I have to disagree with you. I like it.
I know.
I like it for the same reason. It's cake. It's corn cake.
I'm like, yeah.
As long as it's not dry.
You're like, yeah, it's cake. Yeah. No, even when it's not dry, I'm like, it's just.
It's corn cake.
It doesn't. It just turns into mush in the chili. Like I like an opposing texture.
Yeah, I get that. So some people were recommending, or I guess like it's a thing to eat chili over rice, which I kind of get a little bit.
Huh.
Yeah, which sounds good. I mean, of course, I will eat anything.
It doesn't
on rice.
sound bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't sound bad.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like those people in Cincinnati that eat Skyline chili, which is kind of not really, but it's kind of like hot dog chili poured over spaghetti.
Yeah, I mean, I'd eat that.
And then they just add a bunch of garbage on top of it. Yeah, I've had it before, and it is what it is.
Yeah.
I don't think I've had the best version of it.
Mm-hmm.
But then again, from what I've heard, there's not a quote unquote best version of it. It's just shitty chili over pasta.
Yeah.
Which I'm fine with.
Mm-hmm.
But, people hold things up.
Everybody has to have their regional weird quirky things. So
yeah.
I feel like, oh my God, we should do an episode on that. Like different like regional quirky like food mascots. Not actual mascots, but like that region's food that they're known for.
Yeah,
like
I mean,
Chicago
we have
dog, like Baltimore's crabs, obviously.
Or we have, I know we have crabs and that's like our thing, but I would really go pit beef almost.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
Because crabs are kind of, I guess that is when people think of Baltimore.
Yeah, like no one comes here from other states specifically to get the pit beef. Like most people.
Yeah, nobody knows about pit beef.
Nobody outside of Maryland knows about pit beef. It's like it's like still just ours.
Which I got on Sunday and it was fucking amazing.
Oh, I've been craving. Where'd you get it from?
No idea. I don't remember. I was going to go to Chaps. And it was cold as shit. And I looked on Grubhub and there was a place and I went, okay.
And it was good?
Let's try this.
Nice.
Yeah, it was really good.
Sweet.
Yeah. Their wings were good. Their beans were good. Fucking mac and cheese was good.
Do you do tiger sauce on it or do you do?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. With extra onions.
Ah.
For those who don't know, tiger sauce is mayonnaise and lots of horseradish.
Lots of horseradish. I don't like tiger sauce, which I'm sad because it does sound like the perfect combination. I don't love horseradish.
Do you like just the horseradish? Oh, I was going to say, do you just like the horseradish?
No, it's weird. Like I like horseradish in cocktail sauce, but I don't like it anywhere else. Like I don't like it in cream beef? Sauce. No. But that's interesting. So I will put just hot sauce or like I know it's blasphemy, but I'll put a little barbecue sauce on there if I'm having a pit beef sandwich.
I mean, people put barbecue sauce on it. The hot sauce is the weird thing for me.
I mean, I'll put hot sauce on anything.
Yeah. I like a lot of onion. If I don't do the tiger sauce, I'll just do mustard and onions.
Yeah, mustard and onions too. I'll go that way sometimes.
By the way, for people that don't know, pit beef, which we should do an episode on by itself.
Yeah.
Imagine the laziest barbecue ever. Like you take a top round, you cover it in a bunch of herbs. You can let it sit overnight. A lot of people don't. But then you just kind of burn the piss out of it and then just slow cook it on a grill. Like you burn the shit out of the outside. And then let it slow cook on a grill till you get like an internal temperature of like 120. Then you pull it, let it sit, and then you cut it. And it's basically rare. I mean, it is rare in the middle. And
I think it's like roast beef, but on a pit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
But it's not
so it's
smoked,
smoky and it's got
grilled.
all the.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's got all the, burnt up herbs and shit on the outside of it, which actually does make a big difference because, as you cut it, that stuff crackles and goes mixes in with everything, and you know, it permeates the meat, and I love it. Like, and I like mine rare as possible.
Me too. And they slice it very thin, like on a slicer.
I almost bought a slicer this week because of it.
Like a big one, or like?
Yeah, somebody had a what's the company? What's the big company that like everybody's
wearing or?
No.
KitchenAid.
Commercial.
Oh, a commercial.
Who's the big name in commercial, like mixers and shit?
Oh my God, now I'm blanking. Cambro? No, those are the containers. I forget, but yeah, like a commercial one.
It's a Hobart.
Ah, yeah.
Yeah, it was a Hobart slicer.
I don't see Hobarts around
$50
often. Oh, wow, that's nice.
But it was missing the cradle where you actually put the thing. So you would have to use your hand, and I'm like, that's a good way to lose a finger.
Yeah.
Plus, I couldn't find the cradle for under like $300, so I was like, it's not. Because Hobart stuff's expensive as shit.
It is. I don't like, are they still manufacturing? Because I feel like I haven't seen a Hobart in forever.
No, I think they've gone, I think they just sell gigantic things.
Yeah, like huge.
You know, like when you see it on Triple D, it's like that.
A giant mixer. Yeah.
Oh, a giant mixer for dough and stuff.
Yeah, like a 50-gallon giant mixer. Yeah.
But yeah, I was like, because I was going to make, I've been craving it, pit beef. And that's why we ordered it. Because Leanna was like, dude, you're going to make it. And then, you know, it's going to take you all day and you're going to drive yourself crazy. I'm like, yeah, let's just order it. And it was completely good. Like, it totally hit the spot. I'm glad I ordered it. I got to relax and watch stupid football all day. It was awesome. And then, but then I'm like, the only reason I didn't make it is because I don't have a slicer.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, I'd have to slice it by hand. And that would be the thing that would drive me crazy, is sitting there and slicing and as soon as one thing was like an eighth of an inch, I'd be like, it's too fucking thick.
Yeah, because it has to be thick. Because like the cut isn't super tender, so it has to be thin.
No.
Yeah.
Right.
A slicer would come in handy. Like I would have an entire leg of prosciutto at all times if I had a slicer.
Tell me about it.
Did I ever tell you a time? This was way back in the day when I worked.
Don't you have a slicer at the restaurant?
I do. I do have a slicer in the restaurant, but I really shouldn't have a whole leg. I would get gout or something. But I have had several whole legs of prosciutto and Serrano. Serrano is great because you can hand slice it. I mean, you've had one. But did I ever tell you the story this was years ago when I was practically a child. I worked at Donna's in Mount Vernon, the old Donna's, and I was a cook there, and someone got me a whole leg of prosciutto for my birthday. My friends did, and it was fucking awesome, but I didn't have a slicer. And prosciutto, unlike Serrano, is much better on a slicer, really thin. And it's usually like boneless. So I would put an entire leg of prosciutto in my backpack and I rode my bike to work because it was like, you know, a couple blocks. And and then I would like slice enough prosciutto for the week. And then I'd ride my little bike back home with my prosciutto in my backpack. And I did that until I ate it all. So every time I'd come back and forth, it got a little smaller and a little smaller. But if anyone knew, saw little me riding my bike, there was a prosciutto in my backpack.
I'm imagining like a hoof hanging out of your book bag and shit. Like, yeah, I used to slice it at the restaurant I worked at, and I would always, before I would start, because it was like the first thing I would do in the morning, I would slice a piece that was like a 1/4 inch thick, and then I would cut that into strips and use that like fucking dip all day, like tobacco. I would just tuck it in my mouth and just be able to chew on salty umami shit all day.
Man, that'd keep me going for the day.
Yeah. There was a point in time when I was in my, I don't know how old I was, but I would buy fresh bay leaves and tuck a bay leaf in my mouth. Ooh. And then it's really good.
Huh.
It's so good.
Yeah.
Like a fresh one. It's all floral and like, you know, it's a floral laurel, if you will.
Oh.
Get it? Because they're laurel leaves.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway. Yeah. So The chili inspired the whole digression we just did, but comfort food and shit. So what is like your favorite comfort food besides chili?
Obviously anything
for winter,
braised.
Cold,
yeah, soups obviously,
okay.
But sometimes I don't get excited about soups. But any kind of braised meat, braising food in general is kind of my favorite way of cooking, and then like over an open fire. But braising meat, just something about it. And like I don't even like using a pressure cooker. There's something, and cooking in a pressure cooker, it saves a lot of time, and I think it tastes just as good as like a slow long braise. But there's just
but you don't get the reduction.
Yeah, and there's just something about it, like especially if it's a snow day or it's a weekend day and you're home and it makes the whole house smell good, and it has like you have all this like caramelized sauce on the inside rim of your pan, and it's just something about it, like in your brain, it's like something that has been cooking for this long has to taste good. So, like anything as simple as like a classic beef bourguignon, and I do like a really simple version, like the Ina Garten version that I played around a little bit with, but like you don't have to go through the whole, Julia Child version, even though that version is classic and absolutely delicious. But yeah, that's braised meat is probably my favorite.
I came really close. That was the two things I was fighting with this weekend. I was like, am I going to make lasagna or am I going to make pit beef? And lasagna killed it for me because I was looking at the food lab book. And his bolognese recipe, no shit, was 2 pages worth of like ingredients.
Yeah.
And to make it was like 6 or 7 hours. And I was like, you know what? I'm good.
Yeah.
Like, but I really still want lasagna. But like his
lasagna.
His bolognese is crazy. It's got like gelatin, and you know how Kenji does it.
Yeah, he's nerding out on it, but
super involved.
I think people who like that enjoy the nerding out of it. But
me too. I just wasn't in the mood to.
You can make a fucking killer bolognese in an hour. Like,
yeah, totally
for sure. But I do love fucking lasagna. Like it is one of my most favorite foods. I rarely, like almost never make it because it feels more involved than it actually is.
Yeah.
But it's kind of one of those foods that like I never ordered at restaurants because it's always disappointing. If anybody out there knows a local restaurant that has a solid lasagna, I will run and go get it. But like you come across it, like a friend makes it, or I'll be maybe out of town and find like a good lasagna, but usually it's disappointing. But when you do get a good one, Di
Pasquale's does a frozen one where they make it and they cut it and then they freeze it. And I think if you buy the frozen one and then like an extra side of sauce, you know what I'm saying? And sort of heat that up in that.
Yeah, that wouldn't surprise me. Their stuff is definitely solid. But yeah.
You're a mozzarella or ricotta person?
Yeah. I am a ricotta person. So I am a bolognese, bechamel, and ricotta. That is my favorite.
Shit.
I want it all. Like gild the lily.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Maybe some fresh mozzarella on top, or no, like grated mozzarella on top.
Yeah, grated mozzarella on top, but I meant bechamel. I'm sorry. Bechamel or ricotta,
Bechamel is all of it. You need all of it. Like if I am making it, it's like pasta, layer ricotta, pasta, bolognese, and then I'll drizzle the bechamel, and then so on and so forth. And like,
you're putting the bechamel on top of the bolognese?
Yeah, but not like perfectly. Yeah. Like I'm drizzling it in there, so it's not
like
as
Jackson
much.
Pollocking it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Delicious.
I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But yeah, so when you do get a good
awesome.
lasagna, it's that much even more special because it's so hard to find.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh. Might make us lasagna tomorrow now.
I'll be there.
So, and then braised meats. I mean, I'm the same way. It's like soups or stews, something rib sticky.
Yeah.
Or sticky meat, which is a braise.
And like more beef, like braised beef is like my go-to. Like the beef bourguignon or like beef short ribs, because that sauce is always so good and sticky with like really soft mashed potatoes or like pureed parsnips or pureed celery root. Like that combo is
both of those,
my jam.
underrated. Yeah.
And every now and then you can find beef cheeks, which are fucking delicious, have tons of connective tissue. So that sauce that comes out of there is like super sticky. And Sam's Club somehow always has beef cheeks.
You sure it's not Costco?
In their meat department. No, it's not Costco. Costco
wow, that's
will
interesting.
have short ribs, and they'll have like really nice boneless short ribs at Costco. But the beef cheeks, Sam's, somehow, they are like not cleaned up at all. So you gotta, butcher them up and take all the connective tissue, like the gross connective tissue out.
Right.
And all of that, but it's kind of fun. And those things are so, so good.
Yeah, I love beef cheeks. They're magical when they're like, when you get to that perfect sort of state of it's almost falling apart. It's like that perfect sort of barbecue.
Yeah.
Like when you have a shit, what am I thinking of?
Like a rib or a beef short rib.
Yeah,
Or brisket.
Brisket, that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
Where it's got that wobbliness to it, and you can cut it with a fork if you want, but it's still holding together. Yeah, it's so good.
Because like
the unctuousness of
I hate
crazy.
it when like ribs, they're so soft that you can pull the rib out. I consider that overcooked. I want like a little toothsome. I want to take a bite from the bone and it comes off easily and it's super soft, but I don't want to be able to just rip that bone out clean.
No
That's
tug,
over.
but it has a bite and chew to it. Yeah. Which is really hard to do.
Yeah.
It's easier to actually. I made some instant. I think we talked about this. I made instant pot ribs a couple months ago, and they came out perfect. And I was like, "Holy shit!"
Yeah, you got your timing down.
Weird. Yeah, the timing was right. And I was like, "Oh shit!"
And like one thing people should remember about braised meats too is you can over braise it. Like you think because it's sitting in a stock or water that it's not going to get dry, but you can dry out, especially beef, especially like lean beef. If there's not a lot of fat and connective tissue, you're literally cooking all the fat out of it. You'll just have a shit ton of fat on top of your stock. And the meat will be dry. Like, it's crazy how that happens. So,
and you were saying parsnips or
celery
root, which is celeriac. Those are so underrated and underutilized, and people never buy them because celeriac looks like a fucking meteor, right? Like it looks. It's so
lumpy,
weird looking,
bumpy.
Yeah.
Looks like it has a skin
parsnips,
condition.
Yeah, and parsnips look like Banicula got to a carrot and sucked all the orange out of it, right? Like, but there's actually one of my favorite culinary things to do is to cut up parsnips and then just smell them a weirdo. They smell so good.
It does.
Like they're so fragrant and floral and
nutty and sweet.
Yeah. And then you bake them or roast them and they're so fucking good. Or just steam them or boil them. Like, I really like parsnips.
Yeah.
They're so good.
When I do parsnip or celery root puree, I do tend to add some russet potatoes to it, like half and half, because I prefer the texture because they absorb more water than and have less starch than potatoes. So sometimes when you puree it, it just doesn't have as much body as I would like. So I usually
I do that with turnips.
Mix it. Yeah. But it's so luxurious when you do it.
I also like that kind of braised stuff over polenta, like a really good cheesy polenta.
You're right. I haven't done that in a really long time. Yeah, I'm doing that next.
We're both like, snow day tomorrow.
I had a really early dinner, so I'm already hungry.
I haven't had dinner yet. Leanna's making some sort of shrimp soba dashi thing, which sounds really good.
Nice and light.
But I had two queso birria tacos for lunch today, and I'm still like, oh god.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm gonna go through some things, and we'll just talk about it. Like this is just traditional winter comfort food around the world. We'll start with I got 45 of these things, so I'm just gonna pick up Swedish meatballs.
Yum.
We both like IKEA, right?
Absolutely. I
think we were talking about that last week or last time we were talking, right?
Who doesn't fucking love IKEA Swedish meatballs? But the lingonberry jam is what makes it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And I have made Swedish meatballs from scratch, and it's relatively easy, and the sauce is really good.
Yeah, it's like gravy.
Yeah, it's just
Wait, is it beef or veal?
It's like a cream based. You could do either. You know, and there's so many different versions. It's just, you know, it's the things that are in the meatballs, I think, that really sort of makes the recipe.
Yeah, because it's not like an Italian meatball. It's a little lighter. And is there like allspice or something in it?
I know there's like white pepper.
Oh, yeah. They're like a little lighter than Italian meatballs. And they're like tiny.
They definitely.
Yeah,
and they're smaller.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, without a doubt. Let's see. Are
you looking up
the list? No, I'm just going through the list. Do you want me to look up the recipe for Swedish meatballs?
No.
Because I can do that. I don't care anymore.
What's the next one?
Yeah, there's allspice in it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Lingonberry and shit. Pho. I mean, any kind of noodle thing. Pho's like the weird, like you don't think it would be good for a winter day, but because it's like such a clean, clear soup.
Yeah.
And then you have it and you're like, oh yeah.
It's comforting. But you know, in Vietnam, it's really a breakfast food. Like they eat it for breakfast, which I do crave it for breakfast, and I'm mad that all the pho places around here don't open till lunchtime. Like it's like 8 a.m. I'm like, I think I want pho.
Have you ever had Japanese curry beef stew?
Yes, delicious. The Koreans have our own version of it, and it's definitely like inspired by the Japanese version. So of course ours is more heavily spiced and intensely flavored, but we do our own version of it over rice.
Because the one thing I think a lot of people don't understand is kind of like 3 main curries. There's a Japanese curry, there's a Thai curry, and there's an Indian curry, and they're all different. But they all have the same name.
Yes.
You know, and they're very heavily spiced, but completely different spices.
Yeah, for sure. And like there's not any coconut milk or anything in. There's no dairy at all in the Japanese curry, is there? I don't think there is. Yeah.
No.
And it's less cumin-y. It feels like there's not really any cumin in the Japanese version.
No.
Yeah.
It's not as much, and it's just kind of like a name that they gave it. Just because it's kind of, you know, unlike a lot of Japanese things, they're just like, oh, it's curry sauce.
Yeah, it's definitely heavily influenced by other cultures, and then they made it their own. But I like it when you put it over like katsu, like a pounded fried piece of meat.
Yeah,
is also good with rice.
And then sort of what we were talking about before, like Italian stuff is like any sort of like heavy, slow cooked gravy, you know, to use that term.
Yeah.
You know, like a tomato sauce that's like really cooked with like mushrooms and onions and peppers and, you know, all that shit. And it's
sitting all day on the stove.
Yeah.
Slowly.
And you can put it on a damn brick and it tastes good, you know, like.
Yeah. You can literally just spoon it in your mouth like a really thick soup.
Lamb shanks.
Oh yeah.
It's braised. Big in New Zealand.
It has to be braised.
Yeah. Do you ever eat lamb? Do you eat lamb a lot?
I mean, not crazy amounts of it, but yeah, I've done lamb. I definitely, if I'm at a restaurant, I tend to order lamb. At home, we'll usually do lamb chops. Or we'll do leg of lamb, like grilled, like we'll do like a Mediterranean type marinade. Or I have done like a whole leg of lamb a couple times when like we're having company over or something, and we'll cook it like medium. Or medium, not medium rare, but medium. Lamb I don't like medium. Super rare. Yeah.
Yeah. I only eat it when I'm out because Leanna doesn't want to eat lamb because she's like, I don't eat babies. I'm like, that's not really babies, but whatever.
Is she thinking veal? Lamb isn't babies.
But lamb, it's not spring lamb, but lambs are still like, you know, the technical name for a lamb.
Yeah.
I think it's still under a year, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Something like that. I'm like, they're grown up. It's fine.
I've definitely eaten worse. So
yeah, I like it. I like it when I like it like you said when it's. I like it fast grilled and heavily spiced, and I like it braised, but I like it more when it's sort of fresher. I definitely like it better grilled than not.
There are definitely some like Greek Mediterranean versions where it's like spit roasted or like roasted in the ground until it's like fall off the bone. And it's usually like served with more of like a jus with it. I like that version too, but that is definitely something I don't have time to do at home.
Yeah. What am I thinking of?
I think it's more like Middle Eastern cuisine does it that way a lot of times. There's actually a restaurant in Fells Point that does it. I don't think they do it in the ground, but what is that
I'm thinking barbacoa, so like Mexican, because that's barbacoa traditionally is like wrapped and put underground.
Yeah.
And traditionally I'm thinking real like birria is also barbacoa as well.
Yeah, I think so. And then later added to like a broth and cooked down.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. How do you feel about paella?
Paella. I don't know if I would necessarily, I don't think I would consider that a winter food. I think of it more as like a summer, like cooked outside by the seaside with seafood and things like that. I don't know if I'd consider that. For a while, I was on a paella kick way back in the day.
You have a paella pan, don't you?
Not anymore. I used to. I don't know what happened to it. I think I lost it in a move, maybe. But I definitely had a paella kick. I like the traditional with like the rabbit and the sausage, and then like.
So you like you like a more savory, not a seafood paella?
I like both, like rabbit and seafood, and like mussels and. There's like, of course, every region in Spain has their own version of it, but that is one of the traditional ways with the rabbit.
What about coq au vin?
Coq au vin. Yeah, that's a winter dish. Braised chicken. I have not made a good coq au vin. My coq au vin is never good. No, I don't know why.
It's so fussy.
It is fussy. It's not my favorite thing. I've had good versions of it, and it's still like I'd choose beef bourguignon over coq au vin any day. It's like lighter.
The thing with coq au vin that I always find is you got to have the right bottle of wine. Whereas anything braised with beef, I think the beef sort of like really lends itself and takes over, whereas the chicken just can't fight the wine, so the wine has to be perfect. And I've had coq au vin where people made it and they just bought a cheap bottle of wine. You're like, oh man, like
the technique can be fussy, but it's not that many ingredients, so they all have to be really good because
that's why it's fussy.
No way
you
to
have
hide
to
it.
You have to tend to it. Yeah. Which is always tricky.
If we're doing a braised chicken dish, and I just made this last week, there's the traditional Korean braised chicken dish, and this is something that taktori, we call it, and this is something you don't find in a lot of restaurants, because I think I've talked about this recipe before, but it's kind of one of those things that your mom puts together at home, and it's easy. It's like a weekday meal, but you usually take bone-in chicken, and you use a cleaver, and you cut through the bone, so all that marrow comes out while you're braising it. And there's gochugaru, which is Korean dried chili powder, and gochujang, which is the Korean chili paste that's fermented, lots of carrots, russet potatoes, and the potatoes is what thickens the sauce. And you do it old school, no fancy French technique where you sear off the chicken, you throw it all in a pot with lots of garlic and just let it really slow cook, and kind of the liquid out of the vegetables and the chicken seep out, and it's almost a dry braise. Like it gets covered eventually by its own liquid, but you don't like add a bunch of broth to it or anything.
You're not starting it off, and gotcha.
Yeah, and then you slow cook it, eat it over rice. It's spicy, little sweet, very comforting. I think that's one of my most favorite winter foods.
That sounds fucking awesome.
Yeah,
you have talked about that before, and every time you talk about it, I'm like, I want that.
Yeah, it's so easy, and just like and the main ingredients really, including if you cook Korean food, you always have gochugaru and gochujang in the house. And other than that, it's like carrots and potatoes and onions and garlic. Yeah. Everyone has that. So yeah, that's my favorite. Also, the great thing about braised food, that shit's better leftover. I hate leftovers.
Yeah.
But good braised food, like I will eat that for days because it just actually tastes better.
Mm-hmm.
For sure.
I agree.
Yeah.
Here's one that's good. Beef stroganoff.
Oh, I love beef stroganoff.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Egg noodle, anything over egg noodles, I'm like, yeah, let's do that. And it's like creamy, and the beef is nice and falling apart.
Yeah.
I'm gonna blow through some of these.
Yeah.
English split pea soup, which is good. I've had that before.
Ham hock in there.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
A lot of these are weird. A lot of these, they got like a lot of weird desserts in this list that I've gotten. Hungarian goulash. That's good. Same thing over
kind of a version of
noodles. Yeah. Risotto. That's a given.
That is a year-round thing.
Yeah. Cassoulet. That's a thing I make every 5 years. Like once every 5 years, I'll make a giant thing of it because I do the Anthony Bourdain version, which involves like basically the sauce is you take raw onions and chunks of pork fat and blend them together.
Oh.
In a blender to it's basically that's the sauce for the beans, and you line like a giant pot like a deep Le Creuset thing, any kind of sort of deep pot, but you line it with pork skin, and then you put the layers of beans and sausages and duck confit and that fucking onion fat mixture, and then you strata that all up and down, and then you cover it with more of the skin, dude, and then you cover it and you bake that fucking thing for like 6 hours.
Wow.
And the skin liquefies and the beans liquefy.
Holy shit.
It's so decadent. Like it literally is only a thing that you can eat every 5 years. And honestly, I don't remember the last time I made it. And I'm like,
I feel like this is the year, John, and I will be there. But that sounds amazing. I love a good cassoulet. And guys, it is shockingly easy to make your own duck confit legs.
Oh, yeah.
Like so easy. I think the hardest part is just finding them. Yeah, that's true. Confit chicken legs, confit turkey, fucking good.
Yeah, because the trick of it is the dry brining. You take the spice mixture, which is like cloves. It's called quatre épices, which is just 4 fucking spices. That's what it means. So it's like fucking clove, thyme, cinnamon.
I like juniper, crushed juniper berries.
Yeah,
and
you just do that with salt and let that sit overnight, and then the next day you just slow cook it in fat.
Yeah,
and then it falls
in the oven,
so
it's all like there's no work time.
Totally hands off.
When I worked at Neapol and we were a smokery, so we smoked a lot of seafood and meats. But I started making our own duck confit, and then so I would make duck confit, cook it in the oven, and be all cooked. Then I would take it out of the fat, and then we would smoke it. And then put it back in its fat. Because what's great about making duck confit is once you store it in the fat and put it in the fridge, it will last like months and months and months. Because that fat is preserving it pretty much.
Right, and that's what it was for. Yeah.
Yeah. So we would take it out, smoke it, put it back in the fat, let it solidify.
Holy cow.
And it was fucking good. I don't know if they have it in stock all the time, but I believe they're still doing that. But that was one of my contributions to the smokery, and it's fucking good.
And making your own duck confit, and if you want to make it with duck, like it seriously is magical, because you slow cook it. And then you let it cool in the fat, and then you pull it out, and then you fry it.
Oh, and it gets so crispy.
Crisp up the skin. It's fucking crazy. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but in cassoulet, it's so good. And I do recommend anybody make their own duck confit or chicken confit.
Yeah,
just use chicken thighs, but with the leg. The whole leg and thigh, and then just do the spices from the duck confit.
And you can really experiment. Use any kind of fat. Duck confit is duck fat. You could use lard. Like I'd recommend fresh lard and not the like super hydrogenated shelf stable stuff.
You can even just use. I mean,
oil.
You want to use something thicker that it. Yeah, you can. Yeah, totally. But it's nice. If you just go to Hudson Valley Foie Gras, like their website, you can get buckets of duck fat, which is fucking amazing.
D'Artagnan website too. You can do that. But I feel like nowadays, like most decent grocery stores will have some like in the freezer.
You can go to what's the Wegmans? Wegmans sells it. Mm-hmm. But you at Hudson Valley Foie, you can buy like buckets. Of duck fat, or like a couple quarts of it, which is really all you need. Mm-hmm. Let me get to another one, pozole, which is really good. Ooh, I love pozole. Mm-hmm. Poutine, which is actually the reason that we started. I asked Crosby, I was like, what should I talk about? And he's like, have you ever done an episode on poutine? And I was like, no. Oh. And then he was like, what about fries? And I was like, no. Oh. Holy shit.
There's so many versions of French fries.
And that's going to be coming up. That's going to be like next month. Me and you French fried. French
sounds great.
Yeah.
Can we eat French fries while we're doing the French fries? That be a we need to be in the same room recording and eat all the fries? Because any excuse.
Curly fries.
I've been trying to eat healthy lately, so just this whole conversation is killing me a little bit.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, we talked about lasagna. Mm-hmm. Oh, here's one from my childhood, and I make this every couple years. Sauerbraten. Have you ever had sauerbraten?
Yeah. Wait, didn't you make it for us once?
I think so.
I feel like it.
I might have sent you home with parties.
Some. Yeah.
And then let's see. Oh, pierogies. That I can see.
Oh, that's year round.
Yeah.
Have you been to
it's
Little Donna's? Isn't that near you?
Yes.
They have good
I did
pierogies.
Not get the. Did we get the pierogies?
Their pizza is to die for.
That was the one thing I didn't get. I didn't get the pizza. I got something else.
It's good, and it's like tavern style. It's Midwest style pizza.
Yeah.
And it's fucking delicious. And on Wednesdays, it's clam pie night. So they do like a white pizza with fresh clams. And it's so good. I will go out on a weekday to get clam pie for sure.
Okay, we're going to end with this. Okay. Fondue, which I feel like is the perfect winter, like, let's just sit around.
Snow day. Yeah.
Right.
It's communal.
No, I feel like that's like a ski chalet, And I haven't had a lot of fondue.
I was going to say, I don't think I've really had a real fondue.
But it's super easy to make because you just kind of take, white wine and garlic.
What kind of cheese is it?
Honestly, you can kind of put whatever the fuck you want in it.
I want American cheese. I want a yellow
Well, that's why you start
yellow cheese sauce.
You fucking trash
I just want
monster.
nacho cheese
You're
sauce.
a raccoon.
Oh wait, I have had fondue.
You're just a cheese raccoon.
Yeah, like, it's called tortilla chips and warm queso.
But that's why you start with the wine, because the wine breaks down the cheese, right? Mm-hmm. And the garlic sort of puts an edge onto the cheese, I guess. You don't want to take the edge off of it.
Yeah.
But
I mean, I'm not going to complain about a pot of warm cheese.
But the hard part is trying to keep it warm.
Oh, yeah. You need a fancy fondue pot.
I think I've only really made it once, but it was successful because I had an induction burner and then just used like a cast iron pot. Yeah, and just kept it down really low to where it was like still basically under a simmer. Yeah. So it stayed hot, because I've been at people's houses, because, when everybody moves out, one of the things that people buy for them are like those cheap, really thin metal fucking fondue sets with the forks that suck shit.
And do you put like a candle underneath it?
You put a candle under it. Yeah. It's garbage. So everybody gets like 2 pieces of bread or meat or whatever that's like covered in cheese. And then when you go in for the third, you just get denied because the cheese is solidified. You're like, oh, all right, well, let's put it back on the
You
stove.
could make a massive version and put it in your slow cooker and like put it in the middle of the table with like an extension cord. That would work.
Yeah. And I remember I'd never went there, but there was that fondue place up by Northern Parkway. What was that really famous fondue place? But it was like super expensive.
The Melting Pot, and I only knew the one in Towson.
Yes, that's the one I'm talking about.
Across from the movie theater. Yeah, on York Road. Yeah.
Yep. And
never been there.
People like, it was great, but it was like $200. I'm like, $200 for fucking melted cheese and melted chocolate?
I heard like it was fancy in there. Like people would do like celebrations and like
without a doubt,
dinner in there and like dates and stuff like that.
Yeah, people would do anniversaries and shit there. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm like, you know what? One, I got to cook my own food. No, I'm not spending,
Hey, unless it's Korean barbecue.
Unless it's Korean barbecue. I was about to make that caveat.
Yeah, because it's all meat and
or if it's hot pot.
Oh yeah, that's true too.
Okay, fine. Take my money, melting pot. I just want some melted cheese.
Nice.
Well, I hope tomorrow we make something delicious that's nice and warm. I hope if you're listening to this, you're nice and warm and you're going to make something delicious.
Yeah, and be safe. If you don't have to drive around, don't drive around. Don't be that guy.
Don't ever be that guy. Like, good grief. Or if you are going to be that guy or gal, clean your fucking car off.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Good grief.
Yeah.
I want to say it's a Baltimore. I want to say it's a Maryland thing, just because we don't get that much snow anymore. But it's just
it's everywhere.
It's just a lazy asshole thing.
Laziness is universal. Yeah.
So please don't be a lazy asshole. Be considerate. And we hope you have enjoyed this episode of the Rude Cooking School podcast. Thank you for listening as always. Rate and review us where you can. Tell your friends and your family. We don't pay for advertising, so word of mouth is really important to us. And we do like when you tell other people. We like getting new people to subscribe or listen when people add themselves to the Facebook page, which you should do if you haven't done it. It's really interesting because it's really interesting to see how people react to like, oh shit, this is like a cool place of Facebook that I've never been to where people aren't fucking yelling at me. And we're all just having fun and talking about food and making fun of food. And it's fun. So do that. And we will see you next week for the Rude Cooking School podcast. I'm John Hauser III. Don't yuck my yum.
And I'm Jeni Peck. Yay, snow day.
Yay, snow day. Build a snowman or snow woman. What's the difference between a snowman and a snow woman?
I'm not going to say
Snowballs.
I was going to say something mean, but that's better.
See you later, everybody. Peace.
Bye.